What's up, you guys? Scott here. So in this video, let's do something a little bit different. I'm going to take you guys behind the scenes and show you the entire timeline, the process, the system, and every step I used to take a client from an absolute stranger to getting them booked in for a $1,500, yes, $1,500 stop smoking session, all the way through to the contracts, getting paid in full. I'm going to show you guys the entire system I use. Now, but beyond this is also the system we teach all of our 100K coaching program students. And what's really important about this system, guys, you guys can basically replicate for yourself, is it's repeatable. I mean, imagine waking up each day as a therapist and a coach, being confident knowing that anyone that inquires about your services, you can turn them into a very high-paying customer. Now, this doesn't require more mindset. It will not require you to get more certified. It definitely won't require you to give any free sessions away to prove your expertise. Guys, follow this system. Make sure you get a notepad and pen. I'm going to take you from absolute stranger all the way through to getting paid as a highly paid therapist or coach. Now, it can be used whether you're a therapist, coach, NLP, RTT, doesn't matter how much experience you have. You want to start replicating this system as best you can. So guys, I'm excited about this one. Let's go. All right, guys, so what you can see in front of you is the entire system from a perfect stranger all the way through to being paid $1,500 upfront at the end of the strategy call for someone to quit smoking. So I want to take you through this entire process. Now, it may look complicated, it may look like there's a lot going on, but really when we break it down, it's quite a smooth timeline we can go to. But what's most important is this, and keep this in mind, bear this in mind as I go through this video. It's a repeatable process, guys. Could you imagine knowing what to do with every single person that wants to be your client or inquires about your service or does a strategy call with you? You know what to do, when not to do something, when to say something, when not to say something, how to transition. If a client says this, I can do this, and having a repeatable process. This is what I mean about control. Having perfect control over your therapy and coaching business and having control over the income you can make. Now, if right now the only strategy you put into place is if like a client messages you, asks you for your prices and you instantly give it to them and then they don't get back to you, this is not a system. If you're guessing what to say on a strategy call, this is not a system. It's not repeatable. If you're guessing how to market, how to get clients, what your prices should be, what happens if a client gives you objections, if you're guessing all of this, this is the core reason why you are struggling to make any money. Any good business on the face of this earth, regardless whether it's coaching, therapy, or really any niche whatsoever, is having a repeatable process that not only you could follow, that later on, maybe you can hire a sales team to follow or a virtual assistant to follow. And guys, this is it right here. So I'm going to take you through step by step. Very simple. And guys, please replicate this as best you can. Now, I do want to make this abundantly clear. The way I got clients was not getting more certified. I probably have the least amount of certifications in this industry. I wasn't doing mindset. As you guys know, I stopped all of that stuff and I wasn't giving sessions away for free. I wasn't giving sessions away for testimonials. I wasn't doing any of those things. So please don't think, well, Scott, this is the system used, but you're also doing mindset. You're probably giving away free sessions. I wasn't doing any of that stuff, guys. Okay. I did it once as far as giving away free sessions. It backfired. I did mindset for a long time. It backfired. Now, if you want to see my actual mindset process, I'll leave the latest video that we've done. I'll leave it below this video. Go check it out. I'll explain the whole thing. And more certified. Let's be honest, guys. How many more certification can you guys get to realize that's not the gap that's going to fill you in from having no clients to having paid clients? You have to learn the business system. So I digress. Let's get into this, guys. I'm going to start from left and we'll go all the way moving to the right. All right, so let's start with the most important thing, which is content, social media. I'll leave some videos down below talking more about this in detail, but I really encapsulate this as giving value. For a lot of therapists and a lot of coaches, the reason why clients are not looking at your content and wanting to work with you is because you're probably talking about yourself. You're talking about your journey and your story, which your clients couldn't care less about. You're probably talking about NLP, hypnosis, coaching, RTT, healing, all the stuff, again, your clients don't care about. And you're spending all the time talking about all the wrong things. So when I talk about value, I'm talking about content across all your social media. And the easiest way to think about it is answering your clients' most common questions. Now, this was the system I used before social media. So marketing was 100 times harder. I had to do the business cards. I had to do the flyers. I had to go speak to businesses. But if you're now doing those things to this day and they didn't even work that good back then, if you're doing those things now, flyers, business cards, going around to local businesses and knocking on their door and talking to random strangers. Again, this is a core reason why you're not making money. Things have changed and got so easy for us thanks to Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube. Why? Because that's where our clients are. It's easy to find clients online because they're obsessed with social media just like we are. And it's a lot harder and getting a lot harder to even leave your house. I mean, a lot of the world's still going through the coronavirus where you can't even leave your house. So if you're stuck trying to market your business by having to leave your house, meetup groups, events, flyers, business cards, please reconsider. We can do all of this online. So when it comes to value, creating videos, content, posts, create value, show clients how deep your knowledge goes. But I've talked about that often before. I'll leave those videos below. So ideally, I'm creating content on a daily basis, very often per day. And I'm hoping that my clients are going to see this and it's going to answer their question inside their head. Really the only question they have, which is, I want to quit smoking, just in this context of quitting smoking. Is Scott an expert? Can I trust him to be the expert? So my content is hopefully answering those questions. So let's imagine clients seeing some of my content. And let's say right now they send me a message on Facebook. It used to be email. Remember those days? Clients used to have to email, not anymore. Someone sends me a message on Facebook. I'll use the stop smoking context as well. And this is, again, still the system I use in my coaching business today, but I'll change context for hypnotherapy and stop smoking. Client wants to work with me. I do not give my price. Sure, the client's going to say, Scott, what are your prices? How can I work with you? What's hypnosis? They might ask me all of these things. And the first thing I tell everybody who contacts me, let's do a call. Back in the day when someone would email me or actually come into my office, because I used to have an office where they could actually walk in. My reception would say, book a strategy call with Scott. Or if I was there, I'd book them in for a strategy call and I'd tell them I answer all your questions on the call. If someone emailed me back in the day, same thing. The response is always the same. Let's do a strategy call. So with the strategy call, I'd send them the link to book a strategy call. Plus, they also have to fill out a survey. Why do I want people to fill out a survey? Well, it's simple as this. My time is valuable. I do not want to spend my time on a phone call with someone who cannot afford my prices, is not motivated, or is not ready to give up their problem, or gives me like 1 to 2 word answers showing they're not really excited about the outcome and they're maybe a little bit hesitant. I'm not going to waste my time, probably not the best word to say, but I'm not going to waste my time with these people because my time is valuable. Okay. So don't ever feel bad about saying no to clients. So if I get a survey back and I see these red flags, no money, no motivation, not excited, I would message them back straight away and say, look, I'm not the right fit for you. Go find somebody else. And you have to be okay with that. You do not want to spend an hour on a strategy call to get to the end and someone say, well, I don't have any money. What a waste of your time. But it's also a waste of their time as well, because you've only taken them on the strategy call. They'll still have their problem. So it's best to send them to another therapist or a coach that's only going to charge them $50 or something like that. I'm talking here about having very high priced clients. So value, they do a strategy, they book in a strategy call, they book in their time, they fill out the survey. I get the survey, I get the booking time. Now they're ready to go. From there, I do the strategy call. Now, I made a video about this recently where there's a new thing going around where you can pay companies, you can pay other businesses to do the strategy calls for you. Let's say, for example, they will sell your services for, let's say, $400, which already is not enough money to run a business. They'll actually keep $200 or $300 of that and they'll only pay you $100. But sure, they'll get you the lead. They'll also do the strategy call for you. No. Do the strategy call yourself. You're the expert, guys. You know how to handle the objections. You know exactly what to say to your clients. You know exactly what service you have. That cannot be passed off to another company or another mentor because they don't know the first thing about what you do. And they could say anything on the call to get that sale. Then it's up to you to deal with a client that's not the right fit for you for the least amount of money. See my point? So I'm going to do the strategy call. Plus, I also used to have something called my future value deck. Now, this is something we give to all of our 100K coaching program students. I give them the entire strategy call script. I give them the future value deck. I show them how to present lifetime value. Also show them how to talk to their clients about byproduct results. This is a system we teach all of our students. Why? Because this is what I used to do back in the day. Do the strategy call, show the value deck, show my clients why I'm differentiated, what my value is, how it's going to work, what my prices are, what I'm going to save them from emotionally and financially, the entire value deck that I give them, that I show them, and I take them through that, and I'm showing a hell of a lot of value on the call. I do not give my price right at the start. It goes strategy call, I go through the entire script that I had, that I created, so I could just repeat the process, the value deck to show them why I'm giving them so much value, the lifetime value, the byproduct result, and then I offer my price. And I'm also really answering any questions that they have. So at the end, I'll say, this is my price, get you from being a smoker to a non-smoker. This is the value. This is what your life's going to look like. This is what I'm going to save you from emotionally and financially. Once I've presented everything, shut up. I just be quiet. And this is the big thing here, silence. Because once you give your price, it is very, very easy to ruin a sale if you give your price and then start to justify your price. If a client goes silent for 1 second, you freak out. So, well, hang on, I'll give you a discount, buy one, get one free. Just be quiet. So this was a big thing for me. I struggled with this right at the start. So once I gave my price, I would just be quiet, because I know what would happen inside my client's mind would be this. They'll start to justify the price themselves. They'll have to go through in their mind that whole experience I've just given them on the value, on the strategy call. I've thrown up a lot of information at them. Let them work out and have this conversation in their head. Let them put all the pieces together inside their head. And then from there, only a couple of things are going to happen. Ideally, your client will say, great, let's do it. How do I pay? Or they're going to ask me some questions, which are objections. And I want to handle these things then and there. Okay. So value, call, I do the strategy call. I then give my price, and then I be quiet. Let them work it out in their head. And I don't talk until they ask me a question. So let's say best case scenario, client says, great, Scott, that sounds fantastic. How do I pay? I get paid in full at the end of the strategy call, not on the day they come in for the session. Not on the day where they give me cash. It's on the strategy call. Go get your credit card. I'm going to take credit card details over the phone. And yes, guys, I did this with every client. If a client said to me, I want to pay on the day with cash, no, because you're paying right now to get a spot in my diary. I can only pull out my diary and book you in for this session to overcome smoking once you've paid me. Now, if a client says, well, sure, I want to pay on the day, if they kept asking me that question, I would cancel it and say, look, I can't work with you. This is not how my system works. You might have to go find somebody else and actually take it away from them. Okay. So paid in full at the end of the strategy call, cash goes into my bank. And then I say, great, welcome aboard. I'm really excited to work with you. Let me get my diary out. I can either do 9 a.m. tomorrow, which is Wednesday, or 3 p.m. on Friday. I usually give them 2 choices depending on what I had in my diary. And then I give them that option. Now, what happened, because I really refined this system so well, I had to start booking out clients 2 weeks in advance, 3 weeks in advance, all the way up to a couple of months in advance. Now, this is not a bad thing, but guys, there's going to be a point where you might get to this as well. So the question is, well, Scott, how can I juggle that? Well, what was funny is when I told my clients, look, I can't see you for like 2 months, something happened inside their head that made them realize, wow, I've really paid for a good service here because this guy's legitimate. He's got this many clients coming in, and they're always happy to wait, but I still made them pay. And the contract I would send to them, still with no refund policy or anything like that, there's no refunds whatsoever. You just have to come and see me in 2 months. However, if something opens up, you'll be top of the list. I'll get you in earlier. So clients were actually happy to pay upfront, even though they weren't coming to see me for a couple of months, which was weird. You'd never imagine that to happen, but that's exactly what happened. And it really proves your expertise. So paid in full, credit card details over the phone, get my diary out, book them in. Once they're booked in and I've collected that cash at the end of the strategy call, then I send them the contract. I'll actually say, what's your email? I'm going to send you a contract. It's just a couple of pages. Please read through it. Please sign at the end, because this will confirm your booking. If I don't get that contract back within the next 24 hours and your session's tomorrow, I have to cancel the session and there's no refund. I really need that contract back. Now, inside the contract, what I used to do when I realized this was a good strategy for me as far as marketing, I had a clause inside my contract that said, the cost is $1,500. I've given you a discount. It's normally $2,500, but I will request a testimonial. Now, here's what would happen. People would sign it, and 8 times out of 10, the person's more than happy to give me my testimony because I know I'm going to give them a good service. I know they're going to quit smoking. Sometimes people would sign it and then get to the end and say, oh, Scott, that was awesome. I remember you had that thing in the contract about a testimony, but I'm a little bit unsure. Is it okay if I don't do one? That's fine. I'll let them go. But if I got 8 out of 10 clients had no problems and only 2 had an issue, that's fine. So I had that testimonial clause inside the contract. Okay. Why? Because I want to use their testimonial as part of my dynamic system, which allows me to put out, let's say, a testimonial from Joe Blogs who quit smoking. And I'm going to use that as part of my marketing. And I would tell people in the contract, I'm going to use it in my marketing. I'll blank out your name. You'll be anonymous. No one will know it's you. You don't have to mention what you do for work. You just have to tell, you just have to let me know in the testimonial that now you're a non-smoker and it was a great experience. I'll let them sort of word that together. And I'd let them know I'm going to use that testimonial as part of my marketing. And that was inside the contract, was part of the clause. Okay. Pretty simple so far, guys, right? Value, strategy call booking. Someone wants to work with me, send them the survey, send them the link to book. I do the strategy call. I show the future value deck. I give them the lifetime value. I give them the byproduct result. I give them the price at the end, not at the start, right at the end, answer any questions they have. Then I'm quiet. I let them say, okay, I'm ready to go. Or Scott, I've got a question. Handle that objection. Get paid at the end of the strategy call. Credit card details. Cash is in my bank. Then I pull out the booking. I pull out my diary, book them in. Then I send them the contract. And they've got 24 hours, send me the contract back. 9 times out of 10, I got it back within about half an hour. They would also agree to the testimonial. So I've set up the contract before. So you see how much work, guys, I've done before. So by the time a client comes to see me, I don't have to worry about any of this. I can be completely focused on them because all the work is taken care of and I've got money in the bank. Now, what's interesting about them paying at the end of the strategy call as well, and I'll mention this now, if your clients are willing to pay at the end of the strategy call, I guarantee they'll be an incredible client because they're motivated. There's skin in the game. Anytime a client said to me, oh, I'll pay later, I'll pay on the day of the session, that's letting me know that they're not really in the right spot and they're going to be a bit of a pain in the backside client later on. So I'm always foreseeing what my clients are going to be like later. So perfect case scenario, they pay in full, no dramas. Booking, they book within the day. They want to come in basically tomorrow if I've got the time. They send me the contract back and they give me the thumbs up for a testimonial. Perfect case scenario, okay? So let's say out of 10 clients, this would be 9 out of 10. No dramas whatsoever, pretty much close everybody once I got really good at this. Now, did it start like this? No, absolutely not. But I refined this. Why? Because I wanted to rely on this. I wanted to know that I've got a sequence of events that if someone wants to work with me, I know what to do here, then this, then this, then this, and this is the outcome I am looking for. But however, if someone sends me a message and I'm thinking, oh my God, what do I do next? Do I book them in now? Do I take the cash now? How do I do a strategy call? What am I going to ask? Complete and utter chaos. And there is no way in the world that I could have grown a business that way. And guys, you're probably in this mess as well. So we need a sequence. And like I said, this is the exact sequence we teach all of our 100K coaching program students. And that's the reason why they're doing 5, 10, 15, 20, even upwards of $30, $40, $50,000 per month. They just follow this entire sequence. You can turn your brain off. Now you've got steps to follow. So let's say 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10 clients, perfect case scenario, get the testimonial at the end, have a great experience with this client. 2 out of 10 times, I get someone saying this, look, Scott, I've just got to ask my wife first. So I ask my husband, or I need to think about it. I'm really busy right now. Can I get back to you at the end of the day about what I want to do? I say, absolutely. I never pressured them. And then said, are you sure you want to think about it? I only work with clients that are motivated. I don't do any of that rubbish because I know I've showed them so much value and I'm going to send them something that's going to close the call for me. Okay, so I've done my best here. If they need to think about it, I then say this, what is your email? I'm going to send you a quick document, just a quick proposal that'll cover everything we've talked about. If you want to ask your husband or your wife, I'm all for it. I'd love for them to be on board with your transformation as well. That's exactly what I used to say to them. And I said to them, I'm going to send you a proposal. Instead of you trying to think about what we talked about on the strategy call, just show your wife this, show your husband. It's got everything we talked about, everything that's going to happen, everything we talked about on the strategy call, plus the price. And what I'm willing to do, I'll hold this discounted price. Remember, the everyday price is $2,500, but I'm giving it to you for $15,000. So you're going to save $1,000. Usually I'd let go of that at the end of the call, but because I'm really excited to work with you, I know that's going to be a great investment for you. I'm happy to hold this price for the next 24 hours. So I'd put that in the proposal. Now, what I would do in the proposal is I'd have a clickable link. So I wouldn't physically send them a proposal or scan it to them. I would email it to them, have a clickable link. They could show it to their husband or their wife, go through all the details. It'll also have my past testimonials, my qualifications, about me, a little bit so they really understand that I'm the expert. Then it's got a link at the bottom that says, once you've made a decision, click this link and you'll be able to access the discount that we talked about. They could click on the link, and where would it take them straight through to? The payment gateway. Okay. Now, I wasn't using PayPal all the way back then, but I'm using PayPal, about halfway through my career. It was a lot easier. Straight through to PayPal. It's got $1,500 there. They can click on it. There you go. So what I would get is I'd be doing these strategy calls through the day. Then I'd look down at my phone, or I'd look in my email and have another notification from Joe Bloggs, who I spoke to this time yesterday, has now paid into my PayPal account. Fantastic. Had I not sent the proposal that had the price discount and the 24-hour time, this is what would have happened. Joe Bloggs would have gone to his wife and said, Scott said something about me quitting smoking. It costs $1,500. I really don't know how it works. Why? It's not Joe's fault. I've thrown a lot of information at him. I've shown him the value deck, the strategy call. He can't remember all of that. So what if I put everything I've taught him here into here, and he can just literally show this to his wife or show to the husband? Then they can make the decision and click on the link, and then they pay in full. Do you see that system, guys? Now, what's really important here is I'm not allowing my client just to go away and think. I don't chase up my client. I want to make that perfectly clear. I still don't do that to this day. If someone doesn't want to join my program, that's their problem, not mine. I'm not going to chase them. I give them everything I can. I'm not going to chase them in a week time and say, hey, did you have a think about it? I really want to work with you. I'm going to give you another discount. No, it's up to them. I want them coming to me because they turn out to be better clients and better students. Anyway, so with this, I'm just doing everything possible now. I'm sending Joe Bloggs, as an example, the proposal, allowing him to make the decision, which, let's say, out of every 2 people I send the proposal to, as long as I save half, so 1 out of those 2 people, that's more income for me, and I'm still getting paid in full. I'm not allowing my client to escape my system, okay? And this is repeatable. Everything here, once you nail it, is repeatable down to the last word you say, the last price you give, the last proposal you send can be replicated over and over and over again. I always found it bizarre right now for coaches and therapists that don't have a system. That means that you have to create something new with every new client that comes along. That must drive people insane. Now, what's interesting even more above this is once you've nailed this, the process gets shorter in time. So now you go from having strategy calls that take 45 minutes. Now you're getting that good at it. Now it takes half an hour, 20 minutes, 15 minutes. I've had strategy calls that have like 1 or 2 questions, takes 5 minutes. Why? How does that work? Client's seen all my value. They've seen all my videos. They've seen the testimonials. I've showed them how deep my knowledge goes. They see that I have some sort of system that I'm running, and it's easy for them to book. They can talk to me, and really they only have a couple of questions. And this is a repeatable thing. But if I had to make up a new system every time I got a client coming in, or I had to do like strategy call, then give them a free session, then give them a free audio, then have them in my newsletter, all of that is just screaming chaos. And this is not the type of client I want to work on. So there's the system, guys. That's the proposal I sent if they do need to think about it. And this blue arrow here represents repeating. Just do this every day. If you want to get one $1,500 client per day, and let's say your closing rate is 1 in 4, which is pretty good, book 4 strategy calls per day. Wake up in the morning with that goal. I know I want one $1,500 client today. All I have to do is book 4 strategy calls. As long as I close 1 out of those 4 calls, I'm going to book myself a $1,500 client. That's it. That's a system. That is what you should be aiming for. If you know what your close rate is, you just aim for that many strategy calls knowing you're going to close 1. And as you get better at this, you go from 1 in 4 closing to 1 in 3, then 1 in 2. We have students right now doing closing every single call. Just step back for a moment and just imagine that as your business model. That every time someone inquired with you, your price is $1,500, $2,500. We've got students doing $5,500, guys, charging for anxiety, stop smoking, weight loss, all the things you're charging $100 for now, our students are charging $5,500 for, but they have a repeatable system. And they know that every inquiry that comes in, as long as they do the strategy call, they get the survey, they do the strategy call, the actual script, value deck, lifetime value, and they follow that process. If my client says this, I'll do this. If they need to think about it, I've got a proposal, I get paid at the end, I can book them in now, I've got the contract ready to go. They know that each inquiry that comes in, they're going to close, and then they can foresee another $2,500 in their bank, $5,500 in their bank. That's a business model. But if you're waking up each day thinking, how the hell am I going to get a client today? Because you haven't even mastered this, how do you expect to get any of this done if you can't master this first? It is all a system. Each part of the system gets better from the previous part of the system. It all runs cohesively. And you guys will get to a point when you've nailed this, where every client that you get an inquiry from, you know is going to be a paid client. That's the control we're looking for. That's how we scale businesses, okay? It's not the certifications. It's not freaking mindset. It's not giving away free sessions. It's not handing out business cards and flyers. It's none of that. This can be done all online. So that's the system. So the last part is this, and I sort of went into that just before. We're looking for something called asymmetry. Asymmetry is looking at each part of this system and making it better and more efficient. I talked about that with the close rate. If I do 4 calls and I close 1, that's $2,500 as an example. So if I want to do 10 grand a month, I've got to do 4 calls, X amount of strategy calls, 16 strategy calls, whatever it is. If I'm doing 1 in 4, it's worth my time and effort to get better at doing the strategy call to close 1 in 3. If I get it down to 1 in 2, by just mastering this, yes, master sales, it's part of business. I've now doubled my income, but I'm not doing more work for it. I know how to book 4 strategy calls a day, but now instead of closing 1 of those, I'm closing 2. I'm closing 3. I'm closing all of them. That's how we can scale your income. And that's how you get so confident in what you do and can start forecasting how much money you're earning per month, per year, and so on and so forth. But if I ask most coaches and therapists what's happening in their business right now, they say, oh, I don't know how to get clients. Don't really know how much I'm earning. It's roughly this. Sometimes I have this. Chaos. And that lets me know there's no system. So asymmetry, you can look at every part of this and try and make it easier and more efficient. So if I'm looking for asymmetry in my value, if I know that my videos are doing okay on YouTube and I want to make them better because I know the ones that are doing okay are booking some calls, but I want them to book a lot of calls, I can increase the value I give in these videos. I can make the videos better. I can make my survey better so I could funnel away time wasters better and only include the right people to the call. I can get really goddamn good at doing sales calls and presenting my future value deck, which is what we give all our 100K students. So I can double or triple my income by doing less calls. I can learn to give my price. I can learn to answer better questions and give my price at the right time. I can learn to overcome objections better and stay silent for longer. I can make sure that I'm confident when I tell people, go get your credit card. I don't stumble over my word or get too excited and there's a break in my confidence. I can also make sure that my booking's already done. I can start to structure my days better. I can make sure my contract is top notch and I can make sure I've got the right things in there. I've got the refund policy set. I've got the communication set. I've got when a client can contact me. I've got all the rules and regulations, everything covered in my contract. So there's no issues. I'm not muddying any water. My client knows what they're going to get and what I'm going to get out of it. And I can make my proposal so compelling that if this person was to show a complete stranger, maybe the stranger would want to work with me as well. You get my point. And I can put all of this into maximizing how much money I can pull into my business by doing the least amount of work. So a big thing for our students that are going from like the $10,000, $20,000 per month and then want to get to the 50s, we don't necessarily have to do more work. We can just start analyzing what they're doing. Because if they're making 20 grand a month, it's obviously working. But we can analyze their system and make parts of it better. And sometimes with just a small tweak to maybe the strategy call, they go from closing 1 in 4 to now 2 in 4. Doubled income by just saying this word here or taking this sentence out or being a little bit clearer at part 9 of the strategy call or even changing this part of their future value deck. One little tweak by analyzing the system could double or triple their income within the next strategy call. This is a system, guys. Like I said, this was the system I run to get clients from. I used to charge $100. You guys have seen the video, all the way up to $1,500 with a 2 to 3 month waiting list. This is how I did it, guys. Not mindset, not certifications, not business cards, not any of that other garbage that everybody else is telling you. Nobody is telling you this. And this is really a behind the scenes, not only just what happens as part of our 100K coaching program, but this is the inside of my business. This is actually what happens inside my coaching company. This is exactly what I do. I don't default from this because I've proven this to work for well over a decade. Okay, we've got thousands of students running this. We've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of six-figure and multiple six-figure students who follow this to an absolute T, and this is why they're making so much money. So guys, hopefully that was informative. I'll give you a bit of a behind the scenes of what happens in not only my company, but also our students' businesses, but also my Stop Smoking business. And like I said, this is how I pretty much booked out my entire business for $1,500 Stop Smoking clients when my competition was charging $100, when there wasn't really anything to do with social media. Marketing was so much harder back then, but a system is something we can rely on. This is something you can get confident in, waking up each day knowing that as long as I get an inquiry, I can close that person, I get money in the bank, and now I can build a successful business and company. So guys, if you've got any questions about this, please feel free to comment below. I'll leave some more videos in the description that'll cover a little bit more about marketing. I'll talk a bit more about these elements right here. You guys can watch those videos as well. So that's all from me for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.